a look at the matchups already.
Yes, so in addition to that, we should go over some of the ground rules of what's going on with today's tournament. So, right off the bat, we actually have, I'm going to switch over to the bracket, which it actually still is on the bracket right now, to show off exactly how the tournament system works. We have an 8-team captain's draft running right now, where each of the 8 captains chose from a remaining party list of 35 players to create their own custom teams. Now, these teams are completely, I wouldn't say randomized, so to speak, but more or less a complete array between highly skilled players all the way down to bronze and sometimes even unranked players. So there's going to be a very wide array of who's actually going to be the skilled players as well as who's going to be naturally learning the game and probably just going to be standard fodder. On top of that, it should be very important to notice that we have decided as a rule to not allow Kindred ever as one of the champions allowed to be played due to the recent patch update. So, every champion aside from Kindred is completely valid. On top of that, finally, we should go over the prizing structure. As for the current prizing structure, we have 4,200 RP going to first place alongside a championship, or excuse me, a tournament. Triumphant Rise is the word I was looking for. Triumphant Rise skin, as well as, well, every team is going to be receiving a 10-win RP, excuse me, 10-game IP boost. On top of that, second place is receiving 3,000 RP. Third place is going to be receiving 1,800 RP. And fourth place is going to receive 1,000 RP. And everybody else, basically anybody who gets eliminated this very first match, is going to receive strictly the 10-win IP boost.
And to give you guys a little bit of context, $20 will get you about 1,800 RP if I'm not mistaken. So we're looking at a little over $40 as the top prize per player. So that's a pretty generous sum to get if you get first place, in addition to the Triumphant Rise skin, which is only available if you compete in tournaments.
Absolutely.
So with that, I think we can jump into the loading screen here, take a look at the matchups. As you can see on both sides, we've already locked in each of our players. Taking a look at the blue team, we've got Aurelia in the top lane with OffNight. We've got Gragas in the jungle with Tetefanes, I believe is how it's pronounced. Apologies if I mispronounce any of these names. In the support role, we've got Morgana with Lost Lulu. We've got Ezreal on AD carry as Brocus, and Kiyokami as Victor.
And we can go over those matchups as we get into the game. So let's talk about the compositions for now instead of who's running them, so that we can always.
Sorry about that.
No, that's great. That's perfect. I appreciate that. So taking a look right off the bat, I'm actually seeing quite a bit of tank meta coming in from the blue team over on OffNight's team, which I'm kind of a fan of. Purple team's got a lot of poke and a lot of frustrating play to play against, but I don't know.
We've got a pretty solid mixed composition coming out from both teams here. As you can see from the blue team side with the Aurelia and the Gragas pick, we've got a good mix of tankiness as well as some damage. Aurelia having that true damage on her W, in addition to being a primarily Triforce and Bork build, will give her a nice mix of the engage, tankiness, and damage. But on the purple team, we've also got Gnar and Lee Sin that also tend to build tanky. Now, both of them could build damage, but they are more ideally suited in that tanky DPS role. I think we're going to end up seeing a little more consistency coming out of the blue team. Both Gragas and Aurelia have not necessarily point-and-click maneuverability, but like pretty much that, whereas Lee Sin and Gnar both have to really maneuver properly to get into where they need to be, as well as have conditional CC, whereas it's a lot easier to land your CC on Gragas and Aurelia. Additionally, looking at the supports, I think the Morgana bindings will be huge if they get landed. Zillion Q's not as easy to hit, but maybe we'll see an exciting shockwave come out of the Orianna, which could make or break some of these fights. So a pretty good mix of compositions here. I'm excited.
Oh, big time. Me too. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I'm also concerned about, maybe this is because I've always been considered a bit of a low-level player, but we do see that the Zillion, he's going to be a frustrating player to compete against because the Gragas is going to have a decent amount of dive, but I don't know if they're just going to be able to seal the deal in addition to have Caitlyn's escapes. You've got Zillion bringing Caitlyn back to life, so they may get a couple of support kills once in a while back in that bottom lane. But I would think that they're going to want to really pick on them a bit early.
So the big thing I think to consider here with the Zillion pick is his ultimate when it comes to mid and late game team fights. Now, Victor being primarily a
diamond with this.
Victor being primarily a burst champion, if he does end up getting an ultimate off and try to zero somebody out. If Zilean does pop that ultimate on there, he's not going to. They're not going to be able to kill with that burst damage, and that could necessarily invalidate a lot of Victor's contribution in fights. Now, whether or not that's actually the case, we'll have to see.
All right, so let's go ahead and run down through the cast of all of the players real quick. Over on the blue team, we have OffNight running on the Irelia. We have Titafanes on the Gragas, Lost Lulu on the Morgana, Brokas on the Ezreal ADC, and finally Kiyokami on the Victor.
Got a little bit of a scuffle here in the engage, but we're going to go ahead and go over the red team. On Caitlyn, we've got Kill Barney 15. We've got Zilean on Swiftwing 45. We've got Gnar on Samish 16. Dr. Daz on the Lee Sin. And finally Banwas on the Orianna. So it looks like we had a little bit of poking around there early game, kind of trying to get some early vision into the red side jungle, but it looks like both sides are just going to defensively ward up and take their positions. Looks like we got Lee Sin starting on the Gromp, and we've got Gragas starting on the Krugs.
Absolutely. So this is already going to be a lot of fun just to check out. We do have the Morgana going down in the support lane alongside the Ezreal, so that's going to be a lot of fun, especially once they start to get a lot of that pick.
There's going to be a lot of poke in that lane. If Morgana does land a binding, Ezreal can aggressively move in and get a lot of damage out really quickly, and Zilean doesn't offer any real utility until level 6 other than his stun, which is not super easy to hit. So if we do see some fighting there, I expect that the bindings will make or break that in addition to the poke. Going to be a lot coming out from the blue team. Now, with the jungle starts being where they are, I do think that we will see a lot of play in the mid or top lane. Once these junglers hit level 3, both of them have very fast ganking abilities. So it'll be exciting to see where they plan to move. Do have a binding landing already, and some good damage going out on Caitlyn there.
Oh yeah, lots of nice harassment right off the bat. That's what we enjoy seeing. So not too shabby right off the bat. We already know that both teams out of this are out for blood. So this is going to be an exciting matchup right off the bat.
So both teams CSing fairly evenly. Another binding's going to land down on bottom, it looks like. So I'm going to get some more trade damage down there. But we've got a kind of standard lanes going on, so we can see that Lee Sin and Gragas are finishing up. Lee Sin is moving a bit faster than Gragas, so we could expect to see again coming out of him early. Lee Sin having some fairly potent early game ganks with his Q execute damage, as well as the slow built in. So once he gets that red buff, it's going to be pretty tough to get away from him if he gets a flank off. And Gnar not having the greatest escapes available to him, especially before level 3. So if he does get in there early, we could see that being quite profitable for him.
Now, do you think that this Lee Sin is probably going to be coming down into the mid lane and helping aggress against the Victor, or do you think that he might risk it against the Morgana down against the Ezreal and try and keep him shut down as soon as possible?
Well, his team is not actually really facilitating his early game strengths much. If you notice here, they're kind of pushing up pretty hard into the map. So it's going to be pretty difficult for him to be able to get in, with the exception of maybe the bot lane, which is already pretty tough to gank because with Ezreal and Morgana.
As we see, Dr. Daw is starting to come around and see if he can pick on this Victor. This might be the first jump right onto the game. Kiyokami taking a lot of damage, forcing down the shield right off the bat. Get the flash of the first blood! Nonetheless, well played going out to Lee Sin. That's got to sting.
That was a really well played approach from Lee Sin. He did end up wrapping around, which helped mitigate some of that push from Banwas. Kiyokami being pretty greedy with her flash there, was not able to get away and ended up burning it at the end to try to escape, even though the burn damage was going to kill her anyway. Just a little bit too greedy holding on that summoner there, and it does cost her life. A very good play from Lee Sin and Orianna.
Very, very well done. So that said, who do you think is going to be able to take advantage? I mean, obviously the red team is going to be able to take this advantage bigger, but
we did see Lee Sin getting that kill, so with that, there's a possibility that he does go damage early game, maybe that Warrior Enchant instead of the Cinderhulk. And with that Warrior Enchant, that actually does provide quite a bit of early game damage that would not normally be there for like the tankier Lee Sin, and does enable him to still go into tanky early. So he's going to actually be a lot more threatening if he does go that route. We do see already the Stalker's Blade, and looks like he is going to Warrior's Enchant with that long sword pickup there. So gank in the top
big
lane.
Flash coming in. Samish is taking a lot of damage. Forces the Flash. Not sure exactly what he was trying to get out of that. Oh, he still gets over the wall nonetheless.
Yeah,
I completely forgot that.
Does have that hop, which does allow him to get out of some situations. They're stickier. Engage in the bot lane, though. Heal was burned there.
And that's going to allow at least a little bit of extra aggression, perhaps even a Lee Sin gank. The rest of the blue team is pushing up a little far. Completely missed shot from Morgana, and that's going to signal the retreat from Brokos as well as the lost Lulu.
I think Lee Sin is going to have to help this bot lane out now. They're in a pretty tough situation. If Morgana does land a binding on Caitlyn, it could very easily spell out death for her at this point with no heal up and no real aid being able to be given from the Zilean outside of the exhaust. Here comes Lee Sin, though.
Lee Sin does spot him out. He does not have the sight zone just yet, so this is going to be a little bit of a concern.
Good binder.
Nice catch coming in from Lost Lulu.
We got an exchange going on mid lane here between Banwas and Victor.
And that's going to pull him in. Banwas dropping down to about 350 health, and that's going to allow them to back out. Kiyokami definitely winning that trade back out of that.
Going to get a little bit of that pressure back in the mid lane. It looks like Lee Sin might be making a return play. He's heading over there. That'll help even that up, but it looks like Banwas is pretty low on mana, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get much out of here, but here he comes.
Dr. Dawes healing up right off the bat, still coming in. Kiyokami still does not have flash, forces the stun. Here comes a teleport coming in from Gragas, wanting to assist in this kill. Might be Aurelia, coming in a bit too late. I guess Gragas does not have the teleport. My apologies on that one.
It was a good way to kind of slow down the aggression there coming out from Dr. Dawes. But with Orianna at such low mana, I don't think they were going to be able to pick up a kill very easily anyway. And Orianna is also not running Ignite. She's running Barrier. So with that low of mana and no red buff on Dr. Dawes, I think that teleport may have been a little bit wasted. But the intent was there, so...
An attempt was made. So, therefore, gold star to Irelia. Thank you very much for helping out your buddy. Especially since Kiyokami currently still does not have that teleport, does not have her flashback yet.
It's going to be a little bit on there. We do see teleport coming out of Kiyokami, so on the Victor with the teleport, it doesn't actually lose that much lane presence. And if we look at the CS matchup, she's only down about 10, which could have been much worse after that first death. So hanging in there, does go with the double Dorns for that extra early game damage boost. Possibly going to try to get some solo kills in lane. Binding lands. Very good.
Right on top of Swiftwing. That's going to take a lot of damage. Is not able to res himself just yet. A little too early for that. And that's going to be a beautiful little setup right off the bat. Ezreal picking up their first kill in the bot lane.
And that's the danger of that lane. You land one binding, and that's a lot of damage that you can get off of just that one binding. Ezreal can come in with multiple spells, auto attacks, and Caitlyn can't really do anything, especially with that heal down. And Zilean having no way to actively help himself get out of trouble until level 6 when he has his ultimate available. So nice pickup there by the Morgana, expertly done.
Especially since now we have the gold pretty much.
We do have a skirmish going on in top lane though.
Coming back right on top of Samish, and dropping down to less than about 100 health. So well done getting back out of that fight. Gets the stun on top of Irelia, but it's just not going to be enough.
It is just a slow there, so not going to be able to really pick up on that. Even after Meganar comes down, he's going to be pretty low health. And without landing an ultimate or having some assistance, I don't know if there's going to be a kill there. A little nice exchange going on between them, though. Going to keep that pressure up in the top lane. We do notice about a 12 CS lead coming out there for the Irelia, so she is getting some lane advantage there.
And she is even rotating back up into the top lane to try and see if she can help stop this gank coming back in. But she walked right through that minute ward.
Nice ward, picked that up.
So OffNight more than happy to waste a bit of time as he from Irelia as he returns to the bot lane, looking for the dive. That's exactly what Irelia was wanting. Now that he spotted that, that's what Irelia wanted. That
Gnar pursuing though.
Yeah,
gonna get some good damage off of that hyper. Looks like it's just gonna be a small exchange though, nothing too big. Now we do notice that Gnar is going for the Blade of the Rune King build. This will be pretty effective against the Gragas Aurelia combo, but not too much because Aurelia doesn't really build health until she gets her first few items. So I think I would have rather have seen him go Black Cleaver against this team. That would have shredded a lot of armor really quickly and also have given Gnar that cooldown reduction and health. Binding does land in the bot lane though. We see some good damage go down on the Caitlyn there.
So still lots of little skirmishes and fights going in all over the place right now.
Gnar is getting attacked again by the Aurelia up top.
Oh, just dives right in, gets the flash, and still gets the kill out of it. Well done to OffNight. 2-1 lead going on, 300 gold, going over to the side of the blue team, OffNight's team. And
we do see Aurelia making full use of that Sheen. Sheen does give her a really nice early game power spike, as she is able to weave in spells with her auto attacks fairly easily. So if she's able to land some of those onto Gnar with no defense on him, he's going to take a lot of damage really fast and have to hope that he can sustain back up with that lifesteal. So some good use of that early game item advantage there coming out from Aurelia.
Dual red buffs getting ready and put onto their appropriate junglers, is that both teams are potentially potentially looking for the dragon right now, but both teams spotting one another and choosing not to go for it. Gragas, little sneaky play coming in from the Aurelia, trying to stop the chicken from being finished off, and that's still going to go over to the Gragas.
Cheeky of a ward, but or you can find yourself cut out as Lee goes in.
Titaphanes is actually taking quite a bit of damage. He was brought down to about 300 health. Aurelia misses the shot, can't pull him back in. So does Lee Sin, forces the flash, not sure what you're doing there. Dr. Dawes going down, drops down to the turret, gets the kill for Kiyokami. Further dives coming in from Aurelia. Here's the Ezreal, shoots out his ultimate, gets nothing. Field goal for Ezreal. And that's going to be a double kill for the blue team.
And we saw some better coordination coming out there from the blue team than we did the red team. Lee Sin wanted to keep up with that gank, was not aware of the bot lane roaming up, even with the vision that we see coming out of that scuttler. So it looks like the bot lane didn't properly communicate that, and therefore we had a numbers mismatch. And at that point, with the addition of the Victor ultimate, there was just no way that they were going to get out of there without at least a 1-for-1. Much better communication coming out of the blue team there for a good pickup, and no losses.
Big time. So that's a huge bonus for them. They're already up 1.6k gold right now over on the blue team. That's going to give them quite a bit of advantage. Unfortunately, did not give them the momentum they needed to also take down Dragon. But hey, I'll take it.
They actually had 4 members there after that play mid lane. I would have liked to have seen them either group up and either push that mid lane tower or go for the Dragon there. Nice binding though from long range.
Coming back in, this might be the end of the Caitlyn. She's actually going to go ahead and get back out of that with 600 health. Heals herself up with the potion, does nicely, but
Ezra's going to wish he had his ultimate there. If he had had that available, that would have been quite a bit more burst damage.
Oh, absolutely. Down to 300 health. Zillion's running for his life, down to about 150 health. Here comes the Gragas. Not sure why he didn't go in to help out the rest of the team. He could have easily helped finish off the rest of that Zillion.
Back there, though, so I think he would have been able to stop him from advancing.
And here comes the Irelia. Here comes the big-time flank. Forces the slowdown with the smite. That's going to be one dead Gragas. Even if he goes over the wall, it's not going to be enough. And that kill's going over to Dr. Dawes, so at least making up a little bit from the momentum lost earlier.
A good ward hop from Dr. Dawes, too. He was preventing Gragas from being able to jump over the wall by positioning himself like that, and he was kicked. We do see a solo kill again coming out from Aurelia in the top lane, really punishing this Gnar. It looks like he is now kind of trying to go for some of that extra health, but it's just too little too late.
Yeah.
She's already got plenty of lane priority, 30 CS lead, and almost a Phage in addition to her Sheen. That's going to be a really tough lane to come back from.
And don't forget that OffNight is actually the captain of the team, where we selected some of the most powerful and highest, best playing players from the school as the captain. So it's not surprising at all to see OffNight getting this much pressure on top of the Gnar right off the bat, especially since since Banwas over in the mid lane is the captain for the red team. So that Irelia is just going to absolute punish, just completely destroy the rest of the red team over with Banwas' team.
Taking a look at the CS here, we do see pretty good sizable leads coming out of the blue team in almost all lanes except for the bot lane. This is just going to help them push their priority in addition to their kills. I think once they do start grouping up, they're going to have a much easier time actually pressing their advantage, because once like we said in the loading screen, they do have that consistency of their engage with the Irelia and the Gragas, having a fairly easy time getting in there, and not seeing really any impact coming out of this Zillion pick in the bot lane. As a matter of fact, he has died once, and he's just taking a lot of damage. We do see Gragas wrapping around here for the possible dive. This could be big. No word there.
Looking for it, coming in right on top is completely missed that shot. There comes the flash coming in from Morgana, forces out the ult, misses the shot, doesn't matter.
Nice.
Ezreal gets the kill, gets the flash outside of kill bar, and he throws it right back into the fight. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Ezreal chose to switch targets.
We still have stuff going on in the jungle.
Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. Both teams chose to switch around. Oh boy, lost Lulu, taking a lot of damage coming in from the Caitlyn ult. Still gets herself out just fine. The rest of the red team still want to fight. They are very much behind. They want to see if they can get any extra kills back out of this. But it does not look like
I think the most they could
happen.
get here, if they wanted, is probably Dragon. Not going to be able to chase too well with their team. Lee Sin being the only one who could really catch up there. Looks like they are making a move towards the mid lane to get that rotation, possibly get some damage on there as Lee Sin returns to farm his jungle.
Still, I'm a little bit surprised at the lack of communication going on between these teams, right?
We did see in the top lane.
What's that? Oh boy, Samus taking a lot of damage from the Irelia again. She's up over 5 kills worth of CS. Like, she's got 3 kills as well as over a 30 CS lead.
Take a look at just the gold here. She's got almost a 2,000 gold lead on this Gnar. That's like basically a full item up on him, and he's now starting to build into what looks like a Warden's Mail. So it's just too little, too late for this Gnar. He started to build offense and got behind in the lane, and I think he's going to have a really, really hard time coming back unless he gets some help. And Dr. Dodge just is not coming up there. Really, just really pushing that priority. Good on her to take use of that strong lane advantage before she even has Triforce.
Catches on, doing a little bit of chip damage to Banwas. Here we go, right back into the bottom lane. Ezreal without his Morgana, but gets Kiyokami's assist.
Nice clip.
Beautiful ult coming in from Brokos, getting that final shot on top of the Caitlyn.
They even got the heal out of her there too, so she tried to heal to prevent herself from dying to Kiyokami's ultimate, which was a good thought. Did not see the Ezreal ult coming though, and it clipped her there just on the side, just enough to finish off the Caitlyn. Nice teleport by Kiyokami.
So very well done over the blue team, continuing to push to their advantage. We're only 16 minutes in, and yet we have a 5-kill, 2,000, about close to a 3,000 gold difference right now.
And here's where we see kind of some of this solo queue mentality coming in here from these teams that haven't really worked with each other. We still notice we have about a 3k lead, right, on this blue team. Not a single tower is among that. So they are grouping effectively to get these kills, but they're just not taking any advantages off of it. No towers, no dragons. I think they can have a much more sizable lead if they did do that. And here we have Gragas coming.
Tedefani's coming back in on top of Samish, knocks him back down to about 300 health. Sorry, Gnar, I just don't think you're getting out of this one, says OffNight. Scores the kill, 8-2, and just a bunch of solo pickoffs across the map.
And here we see just some good reads coming in here from the Gragas. He knows that his Irelia has priority in this lane. He wants to allow her to continue to push the advantage, possibly push that tower down. Comes in for a nice flank, and no good response from this Gnar who doesn't have. The flash does give them the turret, and for the first turret of the game, we see now a 5k lead, or 4k lead coming out from the blue team.
Tedefani's taking quite a bit of harassment from the Orianna, in the mid lane.
Nice binding.
Beautiful binding coming in. Dr. Dawes, you're getting cooked. Forces the jump over, doesn't matter. Here comes the Ezreal ult, field goal for him. And that might hopefully transition over into a dragon kill.
These bindings have been really on point for Lost Lulu. I'm very impressed. Basically, was a large contributing factor as to why they won that lane, even with the experience disadvantage, as Zilean does give an XP advantage. Very solid play. And just Red Team's not going to be able to get positioning here to contest free dragon for blue.
Absolutely, and that's going to allow a lot of extra pressure coming back in. Hopefully the rest of the blue team looking to actually rotate back to the mid lane. They might score an extra tower out of this one.
I think I'd like to see them continue to pressure with their Irelia. Currently, there's probably no one on the red team that will be able to deal with her 1v1. So if they keep that split push up and just maintain some pressure in the mid lane, that could be a very sizable advantage that they get out of having that pressure. Irelia flanking.
Further, we got that bait front coming out from OffNight. There goes the shield going right away, down to 300 health. Gets the flash out, doesn't matter. Goodbye, says Kiyokami. Thanks for giving away my first kill earlier. I got a little bit of revenge. And they're able to push right back down the mid lane and maybe even pressure the tier 2 out of this.
They were able to trade flashes to get that kill and get the tower, so overall a pretty nice win there for the blue team. Never desirable to have to burn your flash to get the kill, but for a tower on top of it, I'll take it. And there's 3 towers down, all the outers cleaned up there by the blue team.
Here comes the shot from Lost Lulu. Beautiful binding coming in. Here says OffNight, I want some more kills. Ultimate coming in from the Ezreal. Completely unnecessary, but we did know that Irelia wanted to feed the rest of the team, which was very kind of her.
And here we just see kind of a compositional mismatch coming in here. The blue team wanting to pick off these skirmishes with a lot of consistent engage and nice catches coming out from like Morgana. And the red team with their Orianna pick and their Gnar pick, they look like they wanted to have team fights, but they're not grouping, which is just allowing this skirmish team to just run them left and right throughout the map. Like this fight right here, I don't think you want to mess with that Victor right now, man. He's pretty big.
Not the least, and yet Samish is looking for it. Dr. Dawes dives in, gets the flash out of Samish. I don't think it's going to be enough. If Gnar goes back into this, Kiyokami's going to switch targets. Gragas says hello, here's my belly. Gets the kill on top of them. Doesn't matter. Kiyokami drops herself, as well as Dr. Dawes taking quite a bit of harassment. Tedefani's flashes over the wall. Dr. Dawes says, no, Quebec, please, I need a kill. And Tedefani says, no.
We had another skirmish going on also by the top lane. No one ended up dying, but we did have a nice sombreroed ultimate on the Orianna there, so that was it's not going to be up if they have a team fight, but given how they've been playing, I don't think we'll see a team fight anytime soon. They are just allowing the blue team to run this game at their own pace. And we do see the blue going over to the Ezreal there.
Lost Lulu just can't do any damage to the Gromps. Every shot doing 0.5% health damage. This is just
we'll give her
Doing her best.
Because she's landing those bindings on what she needs to. She doesn't have to worry about those jungle minions.
Not in the least, especially since you want to give that blue buff over to the Ezreal. That's going to be a lot of fun to see. He's already up to... I don't see cooldown information, unfortunately, under this, but that's okay.
Oh, you can turn that setting on.
Right here.
Oh.
Actually, I guess I can click on... Nope, I can't see that. That's sad. I mean, I can see he doesn't really have any other than potentially runes or masteries, but I don't get to see his current. That makes me sad.
Looking again, we do see Caitlyn has just now finished her first item in that Infinity Edge. Ezreal's already got his Triforce in addition to a pickaxe and another BF sword, so we're looking at a pretty severe item mismatch coming out of that bot lane. One coming out of the top lane. The only real lane that is even close in terms of power is the mid lane, but even then Kiyokami does have her Death Cap finished in addition to having the level 2, level 3, I believe.
We already see a big push coming back in from the Aurelia, back up in the top lane, scoring the tier 2 and forcing the rest of the red team to make a choice. Do you either want to fight 5v4 and lose a tier 2 out of this as we just run away laughing, or do you actually want to lose some extra towers no matter what?
Look what's going on in this top lane right now. We have to send 2 people to deal with this Aurelia, and before Caitlyn can even get there to contest...
Here comes Kiyokami looking for it, gets the flash out of Dr. Dawes, was just enough to get out of the fight, but unfortunately sacrificing the Caitlyn, gets the flash out of her too. Here comes the support, but I don't just think he's going to be able to do anything out of this.
Another on-point teleport from Kiyokami. Wasn't unfortunately able to pick up a kill, but does allow the pressure to yield in the mid lane to get another tier 2.
Gets a tier 2 no matter what they do. The blue team just completely just winning this fight, and there's just not a lot the rest of the red team over with Dr. Dawes and Banwas that they just can't do anything about this right now.
And again, it's just a misuse of their composition. They have these team fight abilities like Orianna Shockwave, Gnar Ultimate, and Lee Sin Kick for engage, but they're just not grouping. They are allowing themselves to be split up so they can deal with the split push, where what they should be doing is staying together and making the blue team respond to them. But I think they may just be too far behind now. We got a 10k advantage here coming in for blue.
Not sure in the least what the Ezreal was trying to...
in the jungle.
Yeah, I think he's just going to get picked off anyway. Aurelia says hello. Gets the flash out, though, but I don't think that's a big of a deal. Obviously, we're having a little bit of a control issue with the Ezreal. Don't worry. We did see that one, buddy. Not only burning your ultimate, but as well your heal.
Oh, and here comes the Baron attempt from the blue team. This should be relatively safe. Lee Sin's dead, and we haven't seen any grouping coming out of the red team with Orianna split pushing in bottom. You're their prime team fight tool, but you shouldn't be the one split pushing down there. Not even a contest, no wards. Here comes Gnar just to see it die. Farewell, Baron.
Drops the ward after Baron even dies, so it doesn't even matter in the least. And that's probably going to signify the beginning of the end. What do you think? Do you think they're going to barrel straight down the mid lane and get the tier 3 there, or do you they're going to switch bot lane? I don't see why
not. It's fairly open right now. There's nothing this red team can do. Now, maybe they get the dream wombo combo, right? But even if they do that, there's a triple threat comp coming out of this blue team. You have to kill all 3 of them, or else any of the other ones can clean up the rest of your team. With Morgana shield and Gragas disengage, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow there.
Especially since they just don't have all the damage that they just need right now. Oh, there goes the dive. Kiyokami wants it. Gets the kill on top of Banwas. That's going to be a great start. Ezreal saying hello with his heal, or with his ultimate, excuse me, his heal, what am I talking about? And that's going to be a kill for Brockus over on the Gnars. The rest of the blue team says, that's 3 on 5, we're going to take our victory right here, right now, storms up to the gates, and that's going to be a free tower.
And we see some really greedy positioning coming out of Banwas on this Orianna. You have no business being in that front, buddy.
Boy.
You need to be back there so that you can have that shockwave ready for your team fights. And once again, Lost Lulu coming out with some Lust Boy-like plays.
No kidding, coming
with
back
these
in.
Fantastic bindings, enabling the blue team to get 2 kills there, an inhibitor and a turret. And I
believe I'm hearing the surrender sound effects. GG being called from Dr. Dawes. That is indeed... not sure if that actually counts as a surrender. I don't believe it does.
I think it's a moral victory, if anything.
It is absolutely a moral victory, and they are still going to have to finish the game, but nonetheless, Dr. Dawes calling and congratulating their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing the Zillion ultimate being used. I don't think we've seen Zillion ultimate used at all this game.
Not once, unfortunately. I just don't think that there was enough of a necessity for it. Zillion was the one being picked off, and he was consistently trying to save it up for their ADC.
It seems like he's just never near enough to the fights.
Here comes the Lee Sin diving in on top. Pushes, doesn't matter. There goes Dr. Dawes getting pushed right back in her tower again. No more initiation. I just don't think that the red team has anything. Even if you were talking about your upcoming, their Wombo combo setup, right? What's going to happen? They don't have the items or the gold advantage that, look at this. We're near a 15,000 gold difference, right? 45K compared to 30K. They just don't have the items.
Yeah, to their credit, they're looking, they're trying, but
they're doing their best.
You're just so far behind now, and the only person that you're even able to attack is this Gragas, who's on the front line. He's the tank. You're going to deal some damage to this Gragas, and he's not going to care. He's going to drink up some of his grog, and he's going to just be fine. Once again, Zillion dying without even using his ultimate on himself.
We haven't even seen Banwas use that ultimate shockwave yet and pull anybody around. It just hasn't.
He has no opportunities.
No, none of the least.
We have the flash up on Gnar. I would have liked to see when he was Mega, maybe him flash into the middle of their team and Gnar ult them, and then see a nice follow-up shockwave there. But the communication's not there, or just the morale is too low. With that GG being called, maybe the players just aren't even really considering it at this point.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, like you were talking about, what are they going to do? Gragas has got his, Orianna's going to throw the ball right on top of Gragas. What's she going to do? Pull him back? No. None the least. He'd welcome that. He would love it if you did that.
He's not going to die from it anyway. So no. We do see some magic resist now coming out from Gragas too. She's not even going to be able to do as much damage to him anymore. I don't know. Still not even a single completed item on Gnar. We have a bunch of components there, not a single item. The only one who's even been able to keep up and farm here at this point is Orianna, but like you said, not one shockwave has been thrown. So when you've got the money, when you've got the items, but you aren't there to provide the skills, well, what does it matter? You can sit there, you can farm 5,000 CS if you want. You can have full build at 30 minutes, but if you're not present in fights, you're not using your abilities, all that money is wasted.
Absolutely. I think we've seen Gnar use his ultimate quite a few times just because it's such a passive. We've seen Caitlyn use her ult one time, and it hit the Morgana, which was actually her target. Nobody chose to tank that for the team, which was a little surprising. Oh boy, look at this Caitlyn. Just can't damage this creep.
Oh, she doesn't have any items.
She's got nothing.
She's on one item, no attack speed yet, other than her boots, no armor pen. And then we've already got Frozen Heart on Gragas, and he's the only one that they can hit. Who else is she going to be able to attack?
Not in the least.
Nice finding again.
Oh, coming on top of Dr. Dawes. There comes a lot of damage. He's going to jump right back out of it. Tedafani's pulled himself right back out.
And that's already the kick burn. So, that's another engage tool that's just gone. No Gnar bar built up. I think this is going to be, at the very least, inhib 3. And if we don't see a victory come out here, the minions will do it for him because they can't clear him out.
They're pushing right back in on the tier 4s as it is. Here comes the Ezreal ult. Catches on top of the support Swiftwing, and it's just not going to do anything else for the rest of the team.
Binding.
Look at the top of the team. There goes Samish dropping down. Well done, Morgana. Boy, oh boy, I'm calling you MVP here.
Yeah, these bindings have been just on point. Another one. There it is.
Catches on top of Caitlyn. Goodbye. Says hello. And then there goes the rest of the red team. Everybody melting. Unfortunately, the red team not even breaking 5 kills. Gragas. Goodbye. Triple for Irelia. Give him a quad. Not gonna happen. Is she gonna get the quad? Aced anyway. Doesn't matter. Well done, blue team.
Fantastic innings.
Well done. Absolutely easily giving Lost Lulu the MVP of that game. So congratulations. Love giving it to supports nonetheless.
And I just want to say again, we had some good comps coming out from both teams, but I just think the blue team played to their strengths much better. We had this nice skirmish comp with catch potential coming out of Gragas, Irelia, and Morgana. Morgana landing the bindings. Good follow-up from the team. Good communication, it looked like. Expert rotations around the map. Doing everything that they needed to do to win that game. Whereas, again, the red team comp wasn't bad. It was just a team fight comp. They got behind early, and we didn't see them ever actually use their abilities to team fight.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the big concern. We saw so much ganking coming back out of... We did see Dr. Dawes doing a little bit of the ganking right off the bat, especially because he got ahead right off the beginning of the game, but it was unfortunately, it was OffNight's Irelia that shook everything up. She just absolutely destroyed that Gnar, and there was no way that they were going to be able to come back from that.
We didn't see any help coming to that top lane. We saw Gragas coming up there and getting the fourth kill on Gnar, so I would have liked to have seen maybe a bit more top priority to help mitigate that crippling loss. But I gotta hand it again to the bot lane. There was so much pressure coming out from those bindings that I felt like Lee Sin he had to be in that bottom half side of the map, because at any moment someone was going to die to like a Gragas dive, come looping from behind, or just some straight binding. So a well-deserved MVP coming out of Lost Lulu on that Morgana.
Absolutely.
Nailing those bindings.
So we're going to take a quick break as we set up the next team. Please don't go anywhere. Promise we will be back in just a few moments, and we will see you all very soon. Thank you very much.